Last week, we talked about noticing and celebrating each and every success, no matter how small, so that your body associates success with positive feelings. This week, we are going to look at another system that you really need to put in place in order to have sustainable ongoing success, and that is a review system. We are going to look at how you can thoroughly review your progress on your own and why it is essential to do so. Let's jump right in. Do you have the habit of starting from zero each month with your goals? What I mean by that is perhaps you didn't quite meet the goal you set, so you wait for the end of the month and then you just set new goals and move forward with new action. The moving forward with new action and new goals is great, but if you haven't reviewed your progress and haven't reflected on what worked and what didn't and why before you just set some new goals, it can actually over time really start to undermine your confidence and create a negative loop where you feel like you are achieving some things but not others and you don't quite know why. If you remember the framework for speaking success, it's really important to take aligned action, to learn things and apply your learning, but it's also really important to review what is working and what isn't working in order to reach that level of mastery that we want. Here is a simple review process. Simple is often the best. Keep it simple so that it works and it is manageable. So the first step is I really do recommend that you record yourself speaking each day. And here's the reason why. Even if you have very specific goals, like the ones that are listed in a week 4, the growth plan, even if you have really specific goals, it can be difficult to track and monitor your progress with your speaking. And so if you record yourself regularly, then you can look back on those recordings and you can really reflect and notice, wow, there's a lot that's changed. And maybe there's some things that haven't changed. But it gives you something that you can track and monitor and examine. So step 1, record yourself speaking each day. Step 2, do a weekly check-in review and post in the Facebook group a goal, a challenge, and a win. Nice and simple, but it really helps you to stretch into new levels of accountability. So you know that you are going to go into the group and you're going to share how you're doing. That can really help you keep you on track. And then, of course, do a simple monthly review before setting new goals. So you might want to journal and ask yourself some super simple questions. For example, do I feel more in the flow while speaking? And think about why that might be the case or why it's not the case. And then also, what are the repeating mistakes or barriers that I'm noticing in my speaking? Another way that you can really focus on, okay, what's changed and how do I feel about that, is to think about the learning zone model, which was made popular by a psychologist. And he talks about the different zones: the comfort zone, the learning zone or the growth zone, and then the panic zone. So sometimes we don't make progress because we haven't pushed ourselves far enough and we're stuck in the comfort zone. Sometimes we don't make progress because we've pushed ourselves too far and we've ended up in the panic zone. Of course, we want to be reviewing how we're doing and making sure that we are taking risks, moving forward, trying new things, but we are in the learning zone, the growth zone. We're not stuck and we're not panicking. So in the comfort zone, it feels safe and in control. It's a good place to reflect. Comfort can be good, but of course, you cannot change things there. In order to change, you have to step out of the comfort zone and go into the learning zone. And that's where you can acquire new skills. You can grow and learn. You are able to deal with challenges and mistakes. You're able to set new goals and feel more confident. In the panic zone, learning is too difficult. It's too unfamiliar, or is required too quickly. And it leads to a lack of self-confidence and being worried about what other people think. So when you are thinking about your goal, perhaps it might be a goal from the growth plan in week 4, from the confidence goals, a goal such as I am comfortable speaking in front of small and large groups. So imagine that your comfort zone is that you are comfortable having a conversation with one other person. Stepping into the learning zone, you might start speaking up more in the group sessions that you join in. Going into the panic zone might be that you decide to speak at a conference next week. That would be too fast, too unfamiliar, too much of a leap. So if you set yourself that goal, you might be able to manage it and follow through, but you know that it would involve a great deal of stress. So I think it's quite nice to reflect on, okay, the goal's coming up. Would that put me into the learning zone or not? But also, it can be nice to look back on other times when you've journaled on this and notice, what is a skill that you now have this month in your review that previously would have put you into the panic zone. So it might be that now you are able to post your video that you've recorded on your own into a Facebook group and have it be seen by people. Whereas previously that would have put you into the panic zone of something that's too unfamiliar and too stressful. Or it could be that you have stepped out of your comfort zone into speaking more with native speakers at work. And you are noticing that you're able to do that. Even though it doesn't go perfectly, there are challenges. You feel in the learning zone, the growth zone with doing that task. So I think taking some time and just thinking about these 3 different zones can be quite an interesting way that is effective, but also super simple, of thinking about where are you in terms of your goals. Okay, your action task, I bet you can imagine, is connected to this, and you can find that in the action task area, and I would invite you to jump right in.